The man was just about to get intimate with his wife, but then he saw the thick chest hair on her body. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. The truth is, Lori was born with unusually heavy body hair. Every morning, she shaved just like a man. Because of this, she had never been able to find a husband. Eventually, Lori's father married her off to a man named Rick, who lived in a remote area. He even paid Rick a dowry of 10,000 francs. Rick was a wounded veteran, now retired. He ran a small cafe in town. When he saw how beautiful Lori was, he couldn't understand why such a pretty woman came with such a large dowry, but he didn't think too hard about it. After receiving the money, he immediately paid off part of his factory debts. The next day, they had a simple wedding ceremony. It wasn't until that night, when they finally slept together, that Rick saw Lori's chest hair and realized why the dowry had been so generous. To him, it felt like he had married some kind of hairy freak. The next morning, he heartlessly kicked Lori out of the house. Heartbroken, Lori wandered the streets alone. She never came home that night. Later, Rick walked into Lori's room and found a book on the desk. Inside were records of other women like Lori, who were born with thick body hair. That's when he realized he had judged her too harshly. The next day, Rick found Lori and apologized. She agreed to come back home with him, but even after that, there was still no intimacy between them. Rick would rather pay for sex than sleep with his own wife. One day, Lori saw the factory owner come by to demand Rick repay his debts. That's when she finally learned he was drowning in loans. By chance, she saw an article in the newspaper. It told the story of a hairy woman doing live performances. Tickets were 4 francs each. Crowds of curious people came to watch. Lori thought maybe she could do the same. She shared her idea with customers at the cafe and invited them to watch her show a month later. When Rick found out, he thought it was shameful. But Lori didn't listen. She was determined to help pay off his debts. 1 month later, the factory workers packed into the cafe. Lori walked down the stairs. Everyone looked shocked. Her thick beard made her look like a man, but instead of mocking her, they praised her beauty. And just like that, she became famous. Business at the cafe exploded. She paid off all of Rick's debts. She even planned to buy a piano so she could play music for the customers. Rick still believed people were only coming out of curiosity and that the novelty would wear off soon. But Lori, full of confidence, said things would only get better. That's when the jealous factory owner showed up at Rick's door.